Hello everybody, thanks for joining my Q&A. This is my second try at ASMR. The first one went really well. I really appreciate all the great comments and all the love I felt from those comments, and everybody really seemed to enjoy the video. So Christopher asked me if I could do a Q&A. So we asked people for questions, and we have a list of 24 questions that I'm going to do my best to answer. I do have them written down, and I wrote down some notes for me to try to remember how I wanted to answer them, because I, lose my train of thought. All right, well, let's get started with question number 1. What do you think about ASMR? Well, at first I didn't understand what it was about. It was very different. But in my generation, there wasn't a such thing as ASMR. We weren't bombarded with information the way the younger generation is. We didn't have cell phones, where you guys are constantly connected with the outside world and constantly being bombarded with different information and events. And I can see why it's hard for people to relax now. I mean, you're always on. I mean, I can remember even going to conferences with my kids at school, and the teachers saying they wouldn't want to be students nowadays because now they're always got to be on. They always got to look good. They always got to be saying the right thing because you're constantly on there. It can be on the internet. And the internet is forever. So I get the need for ASMR. And I think it's very interesting. There's all different kinds. And it's different strokes for different folks. I get that. Some of them I think are really great. Some of them I, wouldn't want to listen to myself. But that's what's great about the internet, is that it does provide you so many different choices and ways to relax, where you can find one that fits you and what helps you. All right, question number 2. What's your favorite food? Well, I like basically any kind of barbecue. I love a good barbecue ribs, barbecue chicken, barbecue anything. I like a good steak. I like Italian food. When I was a kid growing up, my mom would always ask me for my birthday, what did you want for your birthday dinner? I'd always have spaghetti and chocolate cake with chocolate icing. That was just something I had every year. It became almost a tradition. The only food I don't like is seafood, which I don't know why. I just have never cared for it. But everything else, I'm willing to at least try. Number 3, what do you think of Chris's ASMR channel? Well, I think it's awesome. I'm very proud of him for doing it. I know he enjoys doing it. He enjoys helping people. It's really growing very quickly. I think when he first started, I think he had 25 subscribers, and now he's got over 5,000. And it's just amazing to see the growth. And he said it's really helping a lot of people, which is very important to him. So I think it's awesome. Number 4, what are Chris's best attributes, best characteristics? Well, Christopher is very easygoing. He's always has empathy for people, which is a great characteristic. And for me and his mom, he's always willing there to help us. if we need something, he's always there to help. And also, he's very funny. There's so many times where we go out to dinner and he just has everybody cracking up laughing. The way he looks at things, the way he says things. And even when he was in high school, we would have teacher parent conferences. That was one of the things they always said, was they really enjoyed having him in class because he was always funny. He'd take something that was serious and try to make it, funny, so that you didn't have to take it so seriously. So I would say that is one of his best qualities. What was your dad's reaction when he first saw you do or listen to ASMR? Well, I didn't quite understand, which I think I said that once already. But I was very proud to see that he found something that he liked to do, and at the same time that it helped people. And I know he was worried that how we were going to react to it. We were going to be judgmental or think he was, weird, or we'll see negative things. I don't think he expected a positive reaction from his mom and myself, but he got it. Like I said, different things for different people. I said, you got to do what makes you happy, and I'm just glad that he's found this outlet, because it helps him to help other people. So it's working out really well for everybody involved, people listening, and for him doing it. All right, number 6. Did you already know about ASMR is and its purpose, or did Chris have to teach you what it is? Yes, I had to learn it from Christopher, because like I said, I never heard of it before. So Christopher introduced it to me, showed me some of his videos, and showed me some of his other people's videos of doing different types of ASMR, so I could get a better understanding of what it was and what they were trying to accomplish. I also looked it up on the internet to see what their definitions of it were, and I just thought it was very interesting, different way for people to relax and help them sleep. Let's see. What is your most valuable thing you have learned in any of your jobs? Well, when you get a job, you work hard. And you work smart. And be honest. Be honest with the company. And make sure you treat all your coworkers with respect. For me, as I was working through the years, I always tried to make sure I treated people with respect, because some of those people are now my boss. So you never know. So that's, something you need to think about. If you don't treat people right, one day they may become your boss, and they're going to remember that. And that wouldn't be a good thing. So treat people right. What are your hobbies? Well, when I was younger, I played a lot of tennis. All through high school, I was on the tennis team. We weren't a very good team. We hardly ever won, but I had a good time doing it. And I played that all through high school and for a few years after. Then I switched over to racquetball, which is very similar. And loved doing that, played with a lot of coworkers. And played with Karen Smile a few times. And then as I got older, it got kind of hard on my knees. So I started playing golf. And I love doing that. If you've never played, it's very hard. It looks easy, but it's not. Very difficult, very challenging. But when you're out there on the golf course, it's very relaxing. You're always in nature. Usually it's very beautiful. It's very quiet. All you hear is the sound of the birds chirping. And it's just amazing that as hard as it is, that you can still relax while you're doing it. And you can do it at any age. You don't have to be super strong to do it. And we used to play golf with Karen's dad, and he taught me a lot. But yeah, I always loved doing that. I also loved going to the casino, and that's oddly relaxing too. Also, I spend a lot of time on the stock market. I do some day trading, do some investing, but I could actually watch that all day, watch all the ticker symbols go by, and look at graphs. If I'm not at work, usually I'm on the computer, following different stocks, and I love doing it. Let's see. Can I have your son's hand in marriage? Well, yes, sure. Christopher will have to make his choice, and I'm sure whoever he chooses will be awesome. But he'll have my total backing, and whoever he decides to marry one day, we'll be there for them. Which features in your children do you think are most like you? Well, I think empathy is a big one. And they're both good listeners. They'll listen to people. They're not afraid to listen to other people's point of view. They're not afraid to think of both sides of any argument. Because there is two sides to everything. One person's point of view, if you can try to see it from their way of thinking, it gives you a better understanding. And you can come to more of a consensus rather than just thinking that, you're always right and they're wrong. Because everybody thinks differently. I think that's one of their best qualities. And they're very friendly. And I think I am too. I would say that was the best. Can you share a childhood memory of Christopher that is very precious to you? Well, there are a lot of them, of course. But one of my favorites is when he was, we were in the hospital and his mom was getting ready to give birth. I was there and I got to help deliver him. I actually helped pull him out and I got to cut the cord. And then they were cleaning him up, and of course he was crying and screaming, which is what they're supposed to do. The nurses cleaning him all up, and they wrapped him up. He was still screaming and crying, and the nurse said, "Here, Dad, hold your son." And she put Christopher in my arms, and he just stopped crying instantly. And the nurse was like, "Whoa, tell me he doesn't know who his dad is." And I actually have a picture of me holding him for the first time. And that it's a very special moment. But there were many, but that was one of the most special ones. Can you share, I just read that. If you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be? I would just say, I wouldn't want to let other people push me around. I think sometimes I can be too nice and let people push me around, especially in my career. I let some of the bosses should have treated me better than they did if I didn't say anything. So, sometimes you got to stand up for yourself. All right, number 13. Which has been your favorite decade to live through so far, and favorite music and bands in the decades you lived through? Well, all the decades were different. All the music was different. All the things you go through life, it's different. So you have so many different phases. You have when you're a kid, and then when you're a teenager, and then you're an adult, and then you're a parent. They're all different, and they're all good. There were some bad times in every phase, but you get through the bad times, and that's how there's good times. It's like if you don't ever get sick, you don't realize how good it feels to feel normal and to be healthy until after you're sick, and then you're like, wow, it feels so good not to be sick anymore. So we take it for granted. So the bad times teach us, and like they said, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and that's true. As far as the music goes, I mainly listen to easy listening music. I like the Carpenters and Chicago and Yanni. Anything that was relaxing. I didn't really go for any hard rock and roll, all through my life. And listen to Sirius Satellite. And they have all kind of, you can listen to the 90s music, the 80s music, the 70s music, and so on and so on. I listen to, all of them at different times. And what amazes me about the songs is that one song can bring back a memory of a certain thing that happened in your life at a certain time. And I just think that's amazing that happens. It triggers emotional response from us. Have you ever tried listening to ASMR? If yes, did you enjoy it? Did you get tingles? If no, will you try listening to ASMR in the future? I have listened to it only briefly from Christopher's and other people's videos. I've never felt any tingling, but I've never sat there and actually watched, the whole thing all the way through. I just find it, a different way to relax, but like I said, different strokes for different folks. And if that's what does it for you, then that's what you should do. But I can still open to give it another try. Sorry for the rustling paper sound. Number 15, do you enjoy doing ASMR, and what's your favorite trigger? Yeah, I like doing it. I like the fact I think that it's helping people, and that makes me feel good. My favorite trigger would be the whispering, because that's what would be the most soothing for me. I know there's other ones. There's the tapping and the chewing and brushing and that kind of stuff. But, whispering is what would do it for me. Number 16. Well, who was your role model growing up, and why? Well, my role model was my dad. My dad was a good man. he treated everybody in his life well. He was very friendly, easygoing, and it wasn't always easy for him. I mean, when I was growing up, my mother was an alcoholic, and she put him through a lot of hell, and her kids as well. But my dad was always there for us, and he was the one who always took us to the beach and took us to the movies, and it didn't matter how tired he was. He almost always had at least 2 jobs. So I know he was tired a lot, but he still would, when he was off, he would take us, to see our grandparents and to the park. Those are just, I know it was hard, especially with my mom. She made it very difficult for him. But he didn't let that stop him from, trying to make our life as normal as he could. So for that reason, he was my role model, and he could fix anything. Anything was broken, he could fix it. I think he could have built a whole house by himself if he needed to. Unfortunately, that's not me. I can't fix nothing. If I get a screwdriver in my hand, people are afraid someone's going to get hurt. But anyway, yeah, my dad, and I miss him a lot. He was a great person. Number 17, have you set any goals for yourself? If so, have you accomplished them all? And if you haven't accomplished all of your goals, are there any you wish you could go back in time to do? Actually, I have accomplished all my goals. My personal goals as I was growing up was graduate high school, get a good job, get married, have children. I wanted at least 1 boy and 1 girl. And that's what I did. I have a wonderful son and a wonderful daughter. And professionally, I wanted to become a manager, which I accomplished and did that for many years. So, of course, I also have a house, and, a car, and those kind of things. And I'd have to say I reached all my goals. All right, question number 18. Will he start his own channel? Well, maybe. We'll see how this goes, and any other videos that I do for Christopher. And if people seem to like it and it helps people, then, it's a possibility. So we'll see what happens in the future. Number 19, do you have any advice for new parents to be? I would say, first of all, especially for dads, you need to be there at birth. The moms are obviously there already, but dads, you need to be there. It is so amazing to watch the birth process and see what the women go through to bring life into the world. It gives you a whole new respect for women in general, especially your wife and your mother who brought you into the world. It's very exciting, magical, and it's so cool that the nurses and the doctors who are there in the room helping, they're just as excited. They go through it all the time, but they're still so excited because it is so magical. You can just feel the excitement in the room. It's just amazing. You gotta be there. I know my dad didn't get to see any of his kids be born, and he said he wished he could have. Because back in them days, they just tell the men to wait in the waiting room, and they, didn't get to see any of it, experience it. But yeah, I would definitely recommend you be there. Then once your kids are born, you need to listen to them. Show interest in things they do throughout their life. It's so cool to watch them grow and learn. But they, I really appreciate knowing that you're interested in what they do through all the different stages. Also, I never spanked my kids. But, as a parent, you have to make that decision for yourself. What you think the best way to handle things. If they misbehave or don't do the right thing. But I always try to let them know that, there are consequences. You make decisions about what you do. But for everything you do, there's a consequence if it's not the right thing. And I've learned through the years that most of the time, if they knew I was disappointed in them, that really affected them more so than doing anything else. And of course, once they became teenagers, you just take away their phone. And that's the worst thing in the world. But I know my mom raised me through fear. And I got spanked a lot. And that's all she knew. And she did the best she could. I understand that. But one time she asked me, one of my memories of childhood with her, and I told her one of my most longing memories was being afraid of her. And that really upset her. And I wanted to make sure that my kids respected me, but I never wanted them to fear me. So that's just, something to think about as you're raising your kids. All right, let's see what's next. Perhaps advice to a young couple about to get married. Well, just remember that you can't change people. Only they can change themselves. So whatever faults someone has, you can't fix them. So don't try. But communication is key to a good marriage. You got to be able to communicate. And you got to be able to listen. You got to communicate your needs, and you need to be listening to their needs. And it's so important. And also to have empathy is crucial. And trying to see things from their point of view. Men and women just think differently. If you go to a party and you start talking about it later, they think about it differently than you did. That's how things work. But it takes a lot of work to have a good marriage. It doesn't just happen. And it takes constant work. It's well worth it. But it does. A relationship takes work. But if you work at it, you'll be good. Let's see what's next. What do you do for a living? Well, I've only had one job my whole life. I started at 16 years old as a bagger at a grocery store. And I worked my way up into stock and then into management. And I did that for over 46 years. And it was a great job. Got to work with some great people, some great managers, and interacted with customers all day long. And I've really enjoyed it. And it made a good living. But yeah, it's funny to think that's the only job I've ever had. I've never done anything else. All right, what's next? Did you serve in the military? No, I never had the honor of serving in the military. And I have great respect for anybody who's been in the military or is in the military. I think that's awesome that you're willing to put your life on the line for all of us at home who are staying there. You guys, keep us safe. Some of Christopher's friends were in the military, went to Iraq, and I have nothing but respect, and we owe them a lot for doing that. And they really are putting their lives on the line for us to be safe at home. So kudos to all of you in the military and those of you who have served. Thank you. It says, and are Chris's eyes not colored naturally, or does he help them out as some do. No, he doesn't help them out. Those are his actual eyes and color. And he gets some of that from me. My eyes are blue. And he does have very nice eyes. But yeah, he doesn't do anything to enhance them. That's all him. All right, the last question is, how does it feel to know that your son helps out many people, including myself, relax and enjoy their day? Well, I'm very, very proud of him for doing it. It is so cool to see the growth. And I know he enjoys doing it too. And he gets to help a lot of people. And it's just amazing that, I've looked at YouTube and they give him so many statistics and things to look at to help him to make his channel better. And of course, you people out there, with the comments and suggestions is very helpful for him. And I'm just very proud of him for doing it. All right, that was all the questions. I want to thank you so much for watching and listening. And thank you so much for making Christopher's channel a success. I mean, like I said, he started with 25. He's got over 5,000 subscribers. And that's all from people like you who are willing to take your time to watch and listen. And you have multiple choices. Multiple choices. And thank you so much for picking Christopher to bring him into your house and to help you relax, and hopefully he does. I know he works hard at it, and it's very important to him. It's become a major part of his life. I don't think he realized that it would, but it really has. And so thank you so very much. And you guys have a great day or night. Goodbye.